All right, I'm going to tie a basic low water steelhead fly. This one's called a Lady Caroline. We use this in very, very clear water, especially on the Grand Ronde River. So start the thread, and we grab a golden pheasant breast feather. We're going to use that for the tail, and we're also going to use another one for the hackle. So we pull out a little bit of the loose fibers down at the bottom, grab some fibers up at the top, pull those off. You have a nice even tail. Now you want the tail on this fly to be back about as far as the bend of the hook. So we've tied that on there. Trim off the excess. Then we're going to take some olive yarn for the body. Cut that off. Now we want to start this olive yarn clear up at the front of the hook so we have a nice uniform body. Start it up here and work your thread back to the tail over the top of the olive yarn. So when it's back there, take 3 or 4 nice wraps just to hold it. Then we're going to take some fine oval gold tinsel, about 5 inches or so, and we're going to tie that on. Always tie it on the far side of the hook, away from you. So we've got that on with 5 or 6 wraps, then bring the thread to the front of the hook. Then wrap your body material up to the front of the hook, leaving about an eye length of hook in front of the body material so that you have room to tie a wing and a hackle on. Just bind that down with 3 or 4 wraps. Tie that off. And take your tinsel and make 5 wraps of tinsel forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tie that off. Trim off the excess. Then take this other golden pheasant breast feather that you pulled out of the skin. Pull the fuzz off the bottom of it. Pull the fibers back down so that you have a real skinny tip that you're going to hold and tie in for the hackle. So we have it folded back. There's the tip. Tie that in 3 or 4 times with the wraps. Then I always pull the tip backwards so that it folds over the thread and it stays put. Then we fold the hackle back by just brushing our scissors along the hackle itself. Folds one side of the hackle back. Then we'll wrap that forward. Always comb the hackle back as you wrap it forward so you have a nice, neat hackle with no fibers pointing forward on you. They all flow backwards towards the back of the hook. So it takes about 3 or 4 wraps with this. And bind that down. Trim it off. And I always bind down the stem really good. Now we're going to take some bronze mallard feathers. I've already paired them up, so there's 2 feathers here. We cut them apart. So we've got 2 feathers. And we're going to take a strip out of one. You always, when you're dealing with bronze mallard, you always want to keep the stem attached to the fibers that you're going to use for your wing. Okay, so we'll get a little slip about maybe a 1/4 inch wide. There's one wing. Same thing for the opposite side. Another slip about a 1/4 inch wide for the other wing. Now you take those 2 wings. Okay, so you take those 2 wings and you put them together like this. Make sure that the tips are nice and even. You hold that up over the top of the hook. You want the wing to come back about as far back as the bend of the hook. Pinch those on top of the hook together. Take a couple of wraps. Pull everything back up on top of the hook. A few more wraps. And there you have a wing. We're going to pull the fibers up out of the way, trim them off short. Tie a nice, neat little head without too many wraps, so it's nice and small. Then whip finish it. Take about 3 wraps. I'm using 8/0 uni-thread, so whip finishing in this method, you can only take about 3 or 4 wraps at a time. Otherwise, the thread will bundle up on you and not pull together very well. So there's your basic Lady Caroline.